African Women Leadership Network, with the support from a UN Women, launched the AWLN provincial chapter in Mashonaland East, Murehwa. Africa Women Leadership Network was created with the aim of serving as a platform for women leaders to provide peer learning, support, and mentoring of young women in different aspects of leadership, including political, entrepreneurship, and community engagement. Since inception in Zimbabwe, AWLN projects have been mainly centered in towns. The launch of the chapter in Murehwa has been critical in ensuring that the marginalized groups of women also benefit from the chapter at community as well as local level.
Today we are witnessing the decentralization process which we are doing as AWLN Zimbabwe, and we have launched a provincial chapter of AWLN, and we are happy to say that Mashonaland East is the first rural chapter which we have launched so far. We have a Harare chapter and a Bulawayo chapter, and we have managed to launch a Mashonaland East chapter.
Today I'm very excited that we've been launching the Mashonaland East chapter of the African Women Leaders Network in Zimbabwe. This is the second provincial chapter to be launched. The first was in Bulawayo, which also included Mat North and Mat South, and we are the first to be launched in a rural community. So we are very excited to be launching the African Women Leaders Network today. And also that in many countries in Africa, the African Women Leaders Network is now in 29 countries, and Zimbabwe is leading in terms of the decentralization of the network, so that we are actually present in communities, in districts, and linked directly with women's lives.
Today the African Women Leaders Network National Chapter is launching a provincial chapter for African Women Leaders Network in Mashonaland East Province. African Women Leaders Network, or AWLN, is a network of diverse African women from different social sectors. So it's aimed at promoting leadership in women from different sectors like mining, politics, environment, and all the different leadership sectors.
A rationale for decentralization of AWLN to provinces is to facilitate the development of local structures and allow activities meant to advance women's leadership and engagement at grassroots level. The launch in Murehwa is unique because it is a first of its kind in a rural setting and serves as a critical milestone in the AWLN Zimbabwe chapter's efforts to realize its mandate at a local level.
We are launching the African Women Leaders Network, and I am told this is the first launch in a rural province, Mash East, and this is most welcome, being the first rural province to have it.
Nasi musangano uri kulauncha boka remadzimai wa chapter yeMashonaland East Province asiri kulauncherwa muMurehwa district. Tauya kuzosapota sema traditional leaders nekuonesana nema leaders aripo nasi kuti wonkulonchi yaitwa maMurehwa nasi Mashonaland East Province. Asi vari kumiririra vanhu vari kumamisha vasiri maleaders kuti vasimukirawo vachiuya palevel yavari ivo as maleaders. Ndo zvandofunga ndo zvakanyanya kukosha kuti varangarire ruzhinji rwemadzimai vari marusevha kuti vasimukirewo.
The main focus of the launch in Murehwa is meant to focus on aligning areas of intervention and addressing gaps in efforts to empower women to fully participate in transformative and sustainable development.
As AWLN, we aim to develop and encourage solution-oriented thinking among women leaders, where they gather to improve themselves for their own improvement as well as the betterment of the country. We are also aiming to harness the intergenerational divide which is there, so that we also include everyone, regardless of age, every woman, and
with this in mind, we are hoping that from Mashonaland East, we are going to see a crop of women who are going to rise according to our AWLN pillars, as well as their own expectations, be it women in business, women in politics, women in peace and security, as well as the mentorship program which we have, where we have the senior women also training the younger women, so that we have that continuity effect in our programs as well as in the national leadership when it comes to women issues.
Most programs meant to benefit are visible in major towns and cities, with provinces being sidelined. AWLN have launched the provincial chapter in Murehwa with the aim of ensuring that women at grassroots level are not left behind.
This has been very exciting because kazhinji kacho zvinoitwa zvinongoitwa nevanhu vekuharare, but this time around Mashonaland East has been recognized, and coming to Murehwa, it shows the network's ability and eagerness to involve women living in rural communities. And this is very good because it also supports the work that we do locally here in Murehwa and in Usumba Maramba Fungwe, where we just want to foster the leadership of girls and young women, to end violence against girls and young women, and to promote their leadership.
The issues we are looking at is in a threshold of elections. So it's also contributing to the national agenda that we have in our constitution, the 50-50 for women in decision making, the fight for ending gender-based violence. I've served many years as the AU Goodwill Ambassador on ending child marriage. So this is also unique because it's coming close to our families and the women in Mashonaland East.
Tine programs atakafanana netseketsa kumwanasikana empowerment yewana vachiri vadiki, kuti ivo wave economically empowered vachiri vadiki, kuitira kuti vasavhevhwe pavanenge vari kukura netunhu tudiki, nekuti ivo vanenge vaine zvinhu zvavo zvavanenge vainazvo. Tisamirire kuzova empower vakura, titova empower varitori vasikana vari kuprimary, anotori nehuku dzake dzekuti anogona kutengesa achitenga mazepe ake achidya, asingavhevhwe nemadhola anenge aine vakomana vanenge vachiuya kwahwara.
It's very important to empower women at grassroots level because we do not want to leave anyone behind. So the principle of leave no one behind calls for inclusive leadership. Women in rural areas have different needs from women in cities, in the town. So it's a way of leaving no one behind and making sure that the concerns and issues of women at the grassroots level are also taken into consideration when looking at national issues.
Recently, ndoti pandoitisa manhanga, ndosanonzi manhanga sessions communities atodzidziswa neRosary Memorial Trust. Saka ndinoenda ndono create manhanga sessions. So far create groups 6 andotungamira. One racho include group rekuchechi revasikana, pekuti tinosangana sevasikana tichitaura nyaya dzinechekuita nekurodzwa kwaana vadiki, drug abuse, ending child marriages, ending GBV. Because GBV tombofunga zvimwe dzingoti chingoti haisi kuti affecta sevana, but iri kuti affecta nenzira ipi. Inoti affecta because pandichaona baba naamai vachirwa zvichandidisturba pfungwa dzangu even kuchikoro ndovandadona, of which stage it yes to education to a girl child. Saka zvinodistracta futi vana, saka tovadzidzisa futi zvinechekuita neGBV, kuona pasinganga neGBV saka unofamba sei, unozviita sei chichi. Saka ndosati tichidzidzisa vasikana kumanhanga newomen empowerment, kuti musikana mwanasikana wega wega wemunhanga anofanira kunge ane tseketsa yake yatotseketsa kumwanasikana, so that anoti even grade 1 anokudza kuti huku yangu ndodzidzira responsibility pahuku yangu, ndoona kuti huku yangu yadya here, kana ndaona kuti huku yangu yadya here, huku yangu ikaita sai, kana handisina peni ndotrap zairo ndotengesa zai ndotenga peni. That's part of women empowerment yatiri kuita tichidzidzisa kumanhanga.
As you have seen today, the room is full. It's full of the women themselves directly. So even just coming together is empowering because you're able to share ideas, to share perspective. It's also important in terms of empowerment because we are tired of too many words. So my dream is that the African Women Leaders Network in Mashonaland East would be very practical. If it's women in agriculture, women getting land, improving productivity, value addition for our products, access to market, If it is gender-based violence, strengthening the referral pathways, zero tolerance approach. So we're looking at it very practically, and also encouraging the partners, the government and others, to support the efforts that are already happening in the district. We have so many, in the province, we have so many women's organizations, the Women's Coalition, the YWCA, Rosaria Memorial Trust, and many others. So we also want to build and amplify and strengthen the effort that is already happening in the province.
The first of the decentralization of the AWLN groups is the launch that was done in Murehwa. The plan is to expand the chapter to other provinces as well.
We want to make sure that AWLN, African Women Leaders Network, decentralizes further to all the corners of Zimbabwe, and UN Women is supporting African Women Leaders Network in terms of its work at the national level and its work in all provinces. The aim is to ensure that all the 10 provinces in Zimbabwe are covered, and that women in all the provinces are empowered to lead in their different sectors.
Now that the chapter is now in Murehwa, what we are looking forward is the inclusion, not just the ceremonial inclusion of young people or the ceremonial launching of a chapter in Mashonaland East, but we're now looking forward to the chapter actually working within the province.
African Women Leaders Network is now in 29 countries, and Zimbabwe is leading in terms of the decentralization of the network, so that we are actually present in communities, in districts, and linked directly with women's lives.
The AWLN programming is meant to empower and create women leaders at a community level. Murehwa province have gone a step further in creating gender champions, and this will go a long way in ensuring the empowerment of women and girls in the province.
Grade 7 ndopandakatanga kugona zvekuleader ndichingoita sezvokuti it was just a passion ndaitongonakidzwa nekuleader wasikana ndichipawo mafacts according to the life yandairarama yandaiona ndichirarama iri mairi zvakandipusha kuti no, I should do this as an orphan, I should do this kubatsira vamwe maorphans seni handiti. And then ndapa form 2 I was selected to be a leader kuchurch, so ndopandakadzidzawo kuleader vakuru kwandiri vasiri vana chete. So I led that way. Fandazoselectwawo neRosaria Memorial Trust kuti ndive one of the mentors anenge ashandawo nevasikana ndaform 4. And then I started to work with Rosaria Memorial Trust ndichirwira kodzero dzevanasikana nevasikana. Ndopandakazoelectwawo last year to be one of the gender champions. Ndiri paprocess iyo ndisandatoelectwa kuita gender champion. Ndaiti ndikaona ka little amount of money kandawana, I could help musikana wandiri kuona kuti ari kushaya center way, ari kushaya zvine chekuita neupenyu, kuti zviri in need zvokuti ndomupawo kana kutengera mabhuku all this fund, and unotanga ka project kakati so that you can earn your living zvakanaka. So itawo zviri nani. Yes, ndaisana mafundings akawanda, but kandaiwana kalitu ikawo kandaiwana through to maprojects twangoti kwandaita, like ndaigona kutengesa mazepi chichichi, ndaiona kuti zvinobatsira kuti ndibatsire mumwe musikana seni. That way zvakaita kuti ndikwanise kusimudzawo vamwe vasikana seni, and then I was elected to be a gender champion. So far ndakatarisa mashandiro andakaita kubvira ndiri form 2 pandikatanga kunyatsoita zvekushanda nevasikana chaizvo ndakakwanisa kusimudza vasikana vari above 700.
We have always said we want to focus on women and girls living in rural communities, because most of the interventions and activities happen in the urban area. So the uniqueness for me is to bring the voices, the experiences of women living in rural areas to shape a continental initiative and a national initiative for Zimbabwe.
To end child marriage and GBV, we have been taking two routes. The first one is working with girls and young women in community clubs, popularly known as Nanga, where girls and young women learn about issues that affect them and skills building and leadership building. In addition, we've been working with chiefs. Here in Murehwa, we've got Chief Mangwende and we've got chiefs in Shamba who have developed bylaws on ending child marriage with the technical support of Rosaria Memorial Trust, as well as in Uzumba Maramba Pfungwe. We also have been working with the local government and with our technical support. The chiefs, they have made commitments on ending child marriage.
The key aim of the African Women Leaders Network, one is to really build a prosperous Africa and a peaceful Africa. We want to contribute to a new narrative of Africa, but also to build and support the leadership of women around issues such as economic empowerment for women, women peace and security, gender-based violence, but also a new crop of women leaders, the young women leaders. So those are some of the priority areas that we are focusing on, but it's also harnessing the potential and the resources of the continent, like agriculture, mining, tourism, and other sectors.
The launch was also meant to identify priority areas for the Mashonaland East and action plans to be implemented following the launch of the chapter. The needs assessments were done through group discussions, and these were the outcomes from the diverse age groups.
One is to constitute our provincial coordinating committee that would also then link with the national steering committee. So leadership is important, and to have also women of many ages to be involved in that. Of course, it's not happening today, but we've laid the groundwork in terms of the principles and values of what kind of leaders we are looking at. Secondly, we really want to support as AWLN how we can contribute to Zimbabwe's commitment to 50-50. So how can, through the African Women Leaders Network, also contribute and support the women who want to run for public office, who want to run for being in a school development committee, in a water committee, so that we are also looking at practical representation. I think the third, which we are excited about, is to continue the fight against gender-based violence and child marriage.
Tanga tichita madiscussions edu nemamwe madzimai, saka isusu tazosaridza topic yekuti chichi chatinganyanyoita muregion yedu, saka tazosarudza nyaya yekuti tiite zveagriculture. Saka tazoti why tachoose that topic yekuti focus mainly on agriculture. Tatarisawo climatic condition yekunoko, takaona kuti ireligion yekuti kunonaya. Saka tinokwanisa kurima zvimwa zvedu tichiita for reselling. Takazoona zvakare kuti kuno tinowana mafruits ekuti tinogona kutoomesa, uyezve kune zvimwe zvirimwa zvanasana munyemba nezvimwe zvekuti tinokwanisa kuomesa for reselling. Saka izvo zvinosustainawo pamari dzekuti tikwanise kuona for income. Eziwo pahealth yedu, isusu ukadya munyemba zvinotibatsira pahealth yedu.
Tanga tiri kudzidza zvizhinji tiri mugrupu ratanga tiri age group ye35 to 55. Tanga tiri kutarisawo women leadership tadiscussa. Taona kuti muno Murehwa madzimai anga ari kudzvanyirirwa nyaya dzekutora zvigaro. Saka tatiri kutaura kuti mudzimai anofanira kumira nesimba, aine confidence pane zvinhu zvese zvaanenge achiita, asingatyi kana kuvhundutsirwa, asi amire atore chigaro panodiwa zvigaro. Zvekare tichidawo nyaya yemikana yakaenzana yegender equality negender balance. Todawo mikana yakaenzana, kana iri 50-50, let it be 50-50. Kwete kuti madzimai kunodiwa 2, varume kunodiwa 20. Tikuti mikana ngaienzaniswe, munhu wese ave nechekuita muno Murehwa. Kusave anosiiwa kana kuvharirwa panze, asi munhu wese afambe pamwe chete nevamwe. Zvekare madzimai tisatye, tifambe pamberi tichienda kumberi nezvekutora zvigaro. Zvekare tanga tiri kurukura nenyaya yebusiness, kuti tive nemabhizinesi edu ari registered. Timirewo semadzimai, tipihwewo minda, tipihwewo kunyange nemastands, tipinde mubasa rese rinoitwa kunyange nevarume semadzimai, tisingatye, tichishanda nesimba kuti mhuri dzisafe nenzara, asi tichienda pamberi semadzimai.
The launch of the provincial chapter of AWLN in Murehwa is part of efforts of breaking the glass ceiling that hinders women from achieving their full potential.